This week's episode of the A-Game is packed full of Mountaineer sports from the weekend. Football's win over New Mexico State, volleyball versus Georgia State, plus men's and women's soccer.
In studio, we have our football analyst, Desmond Reed, and our player of the week, plus your favorite Q&A game. So stay right here on the A-Game.
The Mountaineers won one of the craziest games you will ever see against New Mexico State this past Saturday. The final score was 45-31 App State, but Taylor Lamb threw for only 48 yards with 2 interceptions and no touchdowns. Jalen Moore, however, had his best game of the season with 2 rushing touchdowns and 241 yards on the ground. But what do you need when your offense does not play up to par? Outstanding defense. And that is exactly what the Mountaineers got on Saturday. Starting cornerbacks Clifton Duck and Tay Hayes both picked off opposing quarterback Tyler Rogers 3 times apiece, both tying a school record for interceptions in a game. The interceptions from the defense allowed the Apps offense to have good enough field position to score points. And get this, the Mountaineers scored 31 points off turnovers. Those 31 points off turnovers matched the Aggies' points in the entire game. Absolutely incredible defense from Appalachian State this weekend. The play of the game on the offense, however, was provided by freshman receiver Malik Williams, who was a quarterback in high school. He threw a 27-yard touchdown pass on a trick play to fellow freshman receiver Thomas Hennigan. Lamb tossed what looked like a screen pass to Williams, only to have Williams find Hennigan in the end zone for the only passing touchdown of the game. The score put the Mountaineers up 38-31 late in the fourth. Jalen Moore went on to seal the game with a long touchdown run with 2 minutes left in the game to put App State ahead 45-31. A-Game reporter Jake Mazza was on the sidelines and has more on the game.
The Appalachian State Mountaineers took on Sun Belt rival New Mexico State University Aggies, and they came up with a big win, 45-31. Offensively, Taylor Lamb did not have the best of outings, throwing for 0 touchdowns and a pair of interceptions, ruining his perfect streak. But Sun Belt Player of the Year last year, Jalen Moore, finally came to life, rushing for over 200 yards and a pair of touchdowns. After the game, Coach Satterfield talked about the record-breaking 6 interceptions that happened tonight by Clifton Duck and Tay Hayes.
Well, first of all, it's good to be 2-0 in the Sun Belt. You know, that's the first thing. And, you know, really proud of where our guys finished in the fourth quarter. And you got to be able to win games like this in the fourth quarter. And obviously it was a lot closer than we wanted. And we didn't play well at spurts throughout the game. But we hung in there. Our defense kept us in the game with the interceptions. Incredible job by Tay Hayes and Duck, our 2 corners, 3 and 3 apiece. And I think it was a school record 6 interceptions. Just incredible job. And they kept us in the game because I think a couple quarters throughout the game, offensively, we didn't do anything. And they kept us in. And then offensively, we were able to get some things going at times. And we got a running game back today. I think Jalen, you know, had a breakout game, which, you know, we've been waiting on. You know, and that's good to see. You know, it seems like now we did all the running, we didn't do any passing. So, you know, we got to get them all together at the same time.
We always try to bring out the best in each other. We always look for each other to make plays because we can only control what the people in our room can control. So watching film, we knew they was going to throw it a lot. We knew they had a high-powered passing offense. And all week we just challenged each other on who can get interceptions and who can make those plays when the opportunity comes.
One of our favorite segments is back. This week's Q&A game has lots of laughs and answers that will have you questioning if Yosef really has an accent.
So, do you know who App State plays in football this weekend?
New Mexico State.
New Mexico, right?
It's New Mexico State.
New Mexico State?
Yeah, that's good. I'm proud of you.
Tijuana.
Are you sure about that?
Wake Forest.
Okay.
New Mexico State.
New Mexico.
Yeah,
Right?
New Mexico State. Do you guys know where that's located on the U.S. map?
New Mexico? Yeah, I'm familiar with the map.
Somewhere near Old Mexico.
Where's Old Mexico?
I think south of the U.S., something like that.
Right beside Texas.
So it's, if you're looking at the U.S. map, it's to the left of Texas and to the right of Arizona.
Taking somewhere near Texas.
That's a good guess.
Well, it's next to Arizona.
North of Mexico.
North of Mexico.
Not where Texas is, I promise.
Like you have California and then there's New Mexico down here.
Yeah, close enough.
It's like between like California and North Carolina.
So their mascot is Pistol Pete, and if Pistol Pete and Yosef were to get into a fight, who would you think would win?
For sure, Yosef.
Yeah, definitely Yosef on that one.
Probably Pistol Pete because he has a gun, right?
Yosef, 10 out of 10.
Yosef, 10 out of 10.
Yosef. I mean, Yosef, but
Why do you think Yosef will win in that fight?
Yosef is hype. I've never seen New Mexico State's mascot. Yosef is always jumping up and down rowdy, and plus he slapped my hand twice and almost knocked it off my arm.
Because it's Yosef. Like, how could he not?
He's the best, clearly.
They had that man in the weight room.
They have him in the weight room. He's working.
I'm coming for your job. Super hot fire. I'm disappointed in you.
No, wait. I changed my mind. I said Yosef because of his sledgehammer.
You gotta go with the Mountaineers no matter what.
I know, but the gun is intimidating. So I mean, but he
Yosef
has
is
a
scared of nothing.
exactly.
If Yosef had an accent, what do you think it would sound like?
First thing that comes to mind is like a hillbilly, so
Can you imitate it for me?
I'd rather. No, I can't do that. I can't do that on the spot like that.
Watch yourself.
Yeah, that. I think that's it.
How about that, man? What do you think about Yosef versus other mascots, man? You think he would get taken down that easy against the Aggies?
Oh, I definitely gotta go with Yosef, man. He had a pretty good shotgun, so that had a lot of power. So I gotta go.
I mean, those pistols though, you can take them out of the holster really quick, and you know.
Yeah, but with one hit, you out. I gotta go with Mountaineer.
I mean, it has that sledgehammer too, right? The sledgehammer.
Yeah, of course, but you know, if you can't bring a knife to a gunfight. So
All right.
Gotta
So
go.
Yosef all the way. He's Desmond Reed, A-game analyst here on the A-game. We're talking college football and of course Appalachian State. Big win against New Mexico State over the weekend, 45-31. Huge defensive effort. I think out of high school football, NFL, college football, you can throw football in general in there. I've never seen quite a defensive effort right there. 6 interceptions, 3 by Tay Hayes, 3 by Clifton Duck. How about that defensive effort on Saturday?
It was tremendous. I think you probably seen a lot of flashback from last year's defense on how that performance went. But yeah, Tay Hayes and Clifton Duck, they did a great job. You can't forget about Desmond Franklin at the safety, and of course the junkyard, the D-line, who brings a lot of pressure on Saturday. So the defense, they really came ready to play.
So you really wanted to be out there then?
Oh man, he probably don't even know.
You missed being out. No, just tell us right now. You missed being out there on that game, right?
Oh, of course. For a game like that and that type of magnitude, a conference game at that, you would want to be out there. But those guys that was out there, they handled business and took the W.
Speaking of handling business, Jalen Moore, he looks to be back. 241s on the day, 2 rushing touchdowns. How about that performance from Jalen Moore?
Oh, that was an outstanding performance. He definitely secured his bag, Saturday with that performance. 200 yards on the ground and, of course, 2 touchdowns. I mean, what else could you ask for with the running back? I feel like Coach Satterfield and the offense were very pleased with his performance. You also have Terrence Upshaw, his player partner, who also had a pretty good game as well. So I really think the running game looks really good going deep into the Sun Belt Conference.
And how does that make Terrence Upshaw feel, taking some of the load off his back so that way whenever his number's called, he's ready to go too?
Oh, yeah, Terrence, he's definitely ready. I feel like, that 1-2 punch they have going is probably one of the best in college football, or I know in the Sun Belt at least. So I feel like they just keep running and keep pounding each other. Hey, sky's the limit.
Now, how about the defensive line? Because the offensive line for the Aggies, they didn't have a single player that was under 300 pounds.
Right.
And it looked at times during the game they got a little tired, but they were able to overcome it, obviously get the W. How do you think playing against that size of offensive line prepares them for other maybe large offensive lines down the road?
Well, you have to go back to, the beginning of the season. Our D-line opened up, with Georgia. Then we come back and now we're playing Wake, another out-of-conference game. So, those are two big, pretty good offensive line. And, starting Sunbelt, we had Texas State and, now New Mexico State. Those are some pretty good offensive linemen. But, as far as the junkyard, Coach Ivey does a tremendous job getting them prepared every week, as far as, stunts or just, having a great get-off. I remember, watching a little bit during the week, he was telling me to get wide, use your speed, and I feel like that's what they did, and they got the job done.
So you mentioned Coach Ivey, you got Coach Woody, Coach Satterfield, and then the rest of the team as well. After a game in which your quarterback doesn't play all that well, how does this team get motivated? Because if you can win a game 45-31 when your quarterback only throws for 32 yards. That's got to be a good feeling, right?
Yeah, and also, we all know the saying is, defense wins championships, offense sell tickets. So, I feel like the defense that game definitely had displayed that, hey, we're bringing another Sunbelt championship here back to Boone, North Carolina.
All right, well, we'll certainly look forward to it, and they play Coastal Carolina this coming weekend. He's Desmond Reed, A-Game analyst here on the A-Game, and we'll be right back here. Next up, we've got volleyball, men's and women's soccer, and your favorite, the player of the week, right here on the A-Game.
So they say it's a man's world? I don't see anybody's name on it.
While they were doing their thing, we slowly changed ours.
Today, women can do anything men can do. And there's one thing we're even better at.
The volleyball team was home Friday night against Georgia State. The Mountaineers ended in a close 5-set loss, with Lexi Kohut and Melissa McMath having incredible performances with 20 kills apiece. Sam Foltz was at Holmes Convocation Center and has more from the court.
The App State volleyball team faced a tough loss tonight in 5 sets against their opponent Georgia State here at Holmes Convocation Center. Despite the results, there were valiant efforts made from Melissa McMath with 20 kills and Olivia Loeffler with 32 digs. After speaking with head coach Matt Ginapro, the team hopes to work on their consistency when facing their next opponent, Coastal Carolina, on Friday.
We haven't put a consistent performance across the board in a bunch of matches. We'll have really good performances from certain people and then down on the other side, or our ball control group would have a really good day and then our hitting group won't. And, we just haven't been consistent across the board in a bunch of matches. So I think once we can figure that out, and I hope it's soon because we're running out of matches, once we figure that out, we'll be the team that I think we can be.
Gotta have hope. I mean, you're not gonna win every match, but you gotta keep fighting, and I know that we are fighting, but we're still not winning. We just have to execute now. So, the fight's there. We got to get our mentalities there, and just execution is really the key thing right now.
The App State volleyball team will travel to Coastal Carolina this Friday before returning home to play them again on Sunday. For AppTV and the A-Game, I'm Sam Foltz.
Appalachian State men's soccer showcased another stingy defensive effort in their 0-0 tie on the road against Howard University in Sunbelt Conference play. The tie is the team's second straight of the season, and it's also their second straight shutout. This marks the first time the Mountaineers have shut out an opponent on the road since last year. The Mountaineers have played strong defense for 5 straight games now, only allowing 2 goals during this stretch. The team looks to get on their offense on the same level as their defense when they take on UNC Asheville at home this Tuesday.
Appalachian State women's soccer played rival Georgia Southern at home on Friday. Senior midfielder Morgan Mozak scored her first goal of the season with a penalty kick in the 71st minute of the game. In the end, the Mountaineers fell to Georgia Southern 2-1. Keeper Taylor Ray played all 90 minutes and had 2 saves. Brittany Zavatsky was at Ted Mackerel Soccer Complex on Friday and has more on the game.
The Appalachian State Mountaineers played the Georgia Southern Eagles tonight at Ted Mackerel Soccer Complex. Although ending in a loss, the Mountaineers were able to get on the board with a penalty kick by Morgan Mozak in the second half. Head coach Sarah Strickland and Morgan talked about what they need to work on before their next game.
I think we need to work on the urgency within the game and how we are running down balls. We can't stop at all. We just have to be full throttle, and just running at teams needs to be better.
We definitely shut down for a little while and backed off, and that's not typical of our program. So definitely having that mentality and that edge for the beginning to the end, from the first whistle to the last whistle.
The Mountaineers' next game will be on Friday the 13th at Little Rock. Reporting for AppTV in the A game, I'm Brittany Zavatsky.
Fall sports is halfway through, but basketball season is officially back, and we have our second player of the week next on the A game. Volleyball was back in action Sunday at Holmes Convocation Center, taking on Georgia Southern. The Mountaineers got their second Sunbelt win of the season, winning 3-1. Melissa McMath had another strong performance with 28 kills. Lexi Kohut, Courtney Sullivan, and Cassie Stevenson had standout performances for the Black and Gold on Sunday as well. The team will be traveling to Coastal Carolina on the 13th at Coastal, and then will return to Boone to play Coastal Carolina on Sunday in Holmes Convocation Center.
We told you last week that App State basketball is back for both men and women. Jay Boyd went to men's basketball practice this week on campus and spoke to Jim Fox and Ronchad Shabazz to see what they had to say about this upcoming season. Take a look.
Hey, this is Jay Boyd reporting from the Holmes Convocation Center, where App State men's basketball just wrapped up their second practice of the season. The App State men's basketball team looks much different than just a year ago because they are joined this year by multiple transfers from programs across the country, as well as multiple freshman recruits. This year, App State men's basketball take on a tough non-conference schedule that includes teams such as Davidson and Ohio State, as well as a tournament where they will be playing in Myrtle Beach instead of Puerto Rico, where they were previously scheduled to play.
Well, I think we're better. I was very pleased. Our staff did a great job. Obviously, when you bring in a guy like Justin Forrest, O'Shawn, Joseph, Michael, you bring in guys like that late in the game, that's pretty darn good. And we're obviously Joseph and Michael got a city year, but looking forward to, a guy like Justin and a guy like O'Shawn can contribute right away. Obviously it's a different game going from high school, or in O's case, junior college, to this. But we're really looking forward to a lot from them. And don't forget, in December we get Hunter Seacat eligible, so that's a big plus for us too. That's a nice reinforcement to have. That's a Christmas present right there.
I feel like every team is liable to be beat, no matter who you play. So if we come out here taking one game at a time, like I said, we got our first exhibition game. That's the game we taking, and then we got Iowa State after that. We got some tough teams though. Ohio State, Davidson, they're always good. So you definitely want to. We got some competition coming up, so we got to look forward to it all and be preparing right now for it.
That's all we have here at the Holmes Convocation Center. For AppTV and the A Game, this is Jay Boyd reporting.
It's now time for the second edition of Player of the Week here on the A Game. This week's Player of the Week is awarded to junior defensive back Tay Hayes of the football team. Against New Mexico State on Saturday, Hayes had 3 interceptions and 3 solo tackles, breaking his career high in picks. The junior is majoring in communications here at Appalachian State, and on the A Game, we're proud of the defensive effort made in Saturday's game and can't wait to watch the next home game against Coastal Carolina on the 21st. So congratulations to defensive back Tay Hayes of Appalachian State.
That's all we've got for this week on the A Game. We will not have a show next week due to fall break, but keep up with what's going on in App Sports by following us on Twitter.
You can like us on Facebook as well to see our full episodes each and every week by joining us for 2 more coverage of App State sports. From all of us here at the A Game, we have a great fall break.